Oktoberfest continues at Happy Valley on Wednesday night with the Kwun Chung Bus Cup. The feature race of the 8-race programme is what we'll be having a look at here on Racing to Win. I'm Andrew Jearn. Good to have your company. I'm joined here in the studio by Paul Lally and Brett Davis. And Brett, the feature race is a really good one. Good sprint over the 1,000 metres.
That it is, yeah. Class 2,000 metres, our feature of the night at the Valley. As Andrew mentioned, Oktoberfest will continue on track, so there'll be a big crowd in attendance. Weather is meant to be sunny on Wednesday and hot temperature, so there'll be plenty of people enjoying themselves at the race course. A couple of interesting runners. I thought Merry Go Win was an interesting runner at the Valley there. Yeah,
there's no jackpots going into Wednesday's programme, but Paul, as Brett touched on, interesting runners coming from Sha Tin and some first starters as well.
Yeah, a couple of first starters here. One over the longer distance, starting up over 1,800 metres, a horse called Ty Smart. Fresh up here. He did one over a lot longer in New Zealand as well. Interesting stat I was looking at before with these sprints, you know, the 1,000 metre sprints. We don't have that many 1,000 metre Class 2 sprints at Happy Valley, but in the last few years, I think since 2014, 2015, John Size has won them all. And I think he can win again on Wednesday night.
Every chance.
And no Joe Moreira Wednesday night. See, he sits this one out.
That's right, yeah. Joe's having a little bit of suspension time, so while he's away, others will play.
All right, Karis Teeton will be riding Premier, and Karis had a pretty good weekend as well at Sha Tin. Before we get into Happy Valley, let's look back on the weekend's action. Now, Karis won the first race on a horse called Alkari. Looks like a nice prospect, but this horse could be going right to the very top, 50-50.
Absolutely. Actually, calling the race at this point, I sort of took a look at him and I thought, oh, he's struggling to dash with them at the moment, but it wasn't the case. I got back to him shortly after, and it was just a matter of Karis trying to find the gap. It didn't appear. He then got to the outside, and like a good horse, Paul, he just went through the gears very quickly.
Yeah, once he got into that clear, he just flattened out so well, didn't he? And hit the line very strongly. Now, he was giving the other... He had a light weight compared to the others, but I don't think it would have really mattered.
No, there's some classy horses there. Racing Supernova, Simply Invincible was a Group 1 winner before he came to Hong Kong. But as Paul said, just, you know, horses that can stop and start, Andrew, in their races and then, you know, produce that turn of acceleration, you know, normally got a few more strings to their bow than the majority. Yeah,
so he was getting £19 off Racing Supernova. As I talked to Paul about, it was 13 beats 1, 2 and 3. All the class was there. Yeah. But the way he's won that race, there's still more to come.
Yeah, and Paul, I think, said when he made him the horse to follow for the season, the form behind his win in New Zealand was outstanding.
Yeah, it's one of the really big form races in New Zealand, and you can see there he's got up 8 points for that win as well. So he's now up to a rating of 89, and they did talk about him racing on the undercard on HKIR.
Yeah, well, there's generally a lot of very good races on that race day.
Yeah. Rattan was a good winner, and there's that first starter, Alkari, who burst a bubble in Amazing Star.
Yeah, look, he's got such a huge stride, Alkari. I wasn't surprised to see him win. I think the form actually behind him would be really strong because Amazing Star looks a talented galloper, and we know Lucky Lucky's got an engine. So for him to do that on debut with just one soft trial under his belt, promising type.
And the big winner of the night, Spicy Car went up a bit there as well.
Scraped in, didn't he?
Got up there by nose.
It's worth mentioning too about Frankie Law's horses. I mean,
Winner St Paul.
Winner St Paul's, and he had Imperial Concord, who I mentioned on the day, hasn't been in single figures for 12 months in the betting. He was, and he nearly pinched the race off your Spicy Car. But the stable absolutely firing. I mean, he's hit the ground running.
Yeah, definitely one to watch. And speaking of wants to watch as well, let's see if we can find you some with our horses to follow. Now, you found another grey for us, Paul. We had huge odds on the weekend, but you were pretty keen.
Yeah, I quite liked it. I liked his stroll at the end of the race, and he was a Group 3 winner who dropped into Class 3. He'll drop another class, a couple of pounds with this. And at 100 to 1, I thought it was not a bad run from him. So I'm going to stick with the ship. Paul O'Sullivan trains him. As you can see, he never gave it away. And once he got into the clear here, I thought he might run on for 4th or 5th. He ended up running 8th, but he wasn't too far away. The winner went straight to the front and was left alone, so he got away with the race. But just you can see, he never gave it away, this horse, and I thought he hit the line strongly enough, and there'll be definitely a win in him soon.
Yeah, it was a good effort, no doubt, considering the points that you've made and the price he was on the day. I'm going to go with the Paul O'Sullivan runner too, Andrew, in Win Beauty Win. The owners of these beauty horses, they don't get too many ordinary ones. This guy had a fairly light preparation, I feel, going into this. And you can see here, Zach just starts to get moving on him now, and then there's a bit of a cluster there, gets held up, picked himself up again and got going. A lot of the momentum had been built by this stage from Ambitious Heart and East Super, but plenty to work with. It was his first start. Paul O'Sullivan has hit the ground running as well this season. I don't think this guy was anywhere near 100%, so follow him with confidence.
Yeah, it was a really good run. I mean, you're right about those beauty horses. They always got a good one. They've got another good one that hasn't raced yet, Beauty Miles. Watch this space.
Not a former New Zealander, is he?
He might well be. Watch this space, though. He's a good one, Beauty Miles.
All right, I found a horse formerly trained in Ireland. Landfall, his name was there. Raced twice, won a maiden, then a Group 3. This is in 50-50's race. You need to go back and watch it from the start, really, because he gave Zach no help at all. He was keen, he had his head up, his mouth open. This is his first start. He's now called Rise High. Casper Founds trains him. Eventually, to settle down and finish off outside of the winner and racing Supernova, he ran the quickest last sectional. He wasn't entitled to do that on what he'd done coming into this, the first half of the race. This is 1,400 metres. That Group 3 was over a mile in Ireland. He's a Derby horse, I'd imagine. That's why they bought him. He's certainly a horse for the future.
Yeah, lovely, nice action, hasn't he?
Yeah, all right, so that is Rise High. Now, it's out of the weekend's programme, while Karis Teeton picked up a couple of days on 50-50, 2 days, plus 40,000, and Star Majestic and Brett Preble, a couple of days as well, same ones in actual fact, the 25th and the 30th of October. All right, well, that brings us just about up to speed, I think, as far as what happened on the weekend. So we can launch into Wednesday night's programme at Happy Valley. 8 races. We're on the B course, and we kick things off with a Class 5 over the 1,000 metres, headed by Double Master. Drops back into Class 5 company, as does Forever Fun. And Rugby Diamond, Sparkling Talent, was handed a course and distance win in the Stewards Room last year. Goldington Horn, Class 5 for the first time as well. 7 Luck won at Shartin over the minimum trip last time out, all the way down to King's Steed. He gets the blinkers back on, and Matthew Poon takes 7 off.
Pace should be reasonable. I've got Rugby Diamond in front of Double Master in this race. I know Double Master's quite a speedy type, but I thought Rugby Diamond last outing could have led on his ear. He pinged out of the gates and then he was sort of just restrained and held in a little bit and not asked to cross the field. I think over 1,000 he can either stay wide, eventually work in front of Double Master, but they don't normally sit sprint in these races, Paul, so it'll be a good pace.
No, he's got the apprentice on him as well. Double Master's now changed stables, though. He is now with Francis Loy, an ex-Gary Ong horse. This one is getting on in age, 8-year-old, but he's still travelling okay. Still a bit of life in those old legs. He might even be 9, is he? He's 9. I did him a favour there. Just had his birthday, yeah.
You've always been a complimentary man.
There he is, and he's down the back straight as well. He's going nicely. So, yeah, the 9-year-old, the old boy. But he's got to carry top weight, but he's down a great. Here's Rugby Diamond, and you can see he's super keen here this morning. Really wants to get on with the job, and he's raring to go. And with the apprentice on, I agree with you, Brett. I think what they're going to do is they'll just let him go. I thought I'd show that point to show that he's ready to go, right?
Yeah, I know he sort of, did lead last start, but I thought he could have found the lead a lot quicker rather than sort of just gradually working there. So I think he'll be quite hard to beat. All
right, barrier 11 for him. We'll kick things off with the last start winner. But that was at Shartin, 7 Luck, 1,000 metres, and did it quite well. This is, of course, another one of Frankie Law's.
Yeah, well, there we go. Frankie Law. This went from Dennis Yip. He was running OK races for Dennis, but he went to Frankie and they decided to take him to Shartin, put him over the 1,000, and he really jumped out of the gates well, and we know he can finish OK, and he's charged away for a fairly soft win over Happy Sound. But this was Shartin straight 1,000. Now they're going back to the 1,000 at the Valley, so I'm not sure if he can quite repeat it because it's a different race altogether.
Yeah, he's had 6 goes at Happy Valley. He's done nothing. To be fair, he hadn't done much before that race either. So maybe that's a bit of an anomaly, those 6 starts, but it did put me off.
Yeah, Glory Horsey was in that race as well, but finished in last place. Here's 7 Luck at the trials as well, along with Double Master and Highland Dragon, who lost that race with Sparkling Talent.
Correct.
I was talking about.
Yeah, and 7 Luck, following that win, has had this next trial. He was able to sort of lay up reasonably handy. You can see Double Master and the old fellow Highland Dragon performed quite well. So, look, I didn't know what to do with 7 Luck. I'm not going to tip him to win, but I'm actually going to throw him in for a place because I just think he's obviously come on a fair bit in the last few months. A change of stable, change of regime with his training and all that. He's obviously picked up a little bit mentally and learned a few things. And maybe he can transfer that good form to Happy Valley now, but he will give away a start.
Highland Dragon's dropped 30 pounds. He's changed stables. He's another Gary Ong horse who's now moved stable as well. So he's an interesting runner. He's another old boy, though.
All right. Saw Gary hung out at track work this morning, actually. Looks in good fettle. Anyway,
on his way to the golf course.
He was on his bike, actually. This was the race we were talking about. So Sparkling Talent handed the race. Here, Rugby Diamonds, he was the protesting horse, but Highland Dragon's essentially a winner without a penalty because he crossed the line in front.
That he is. And Sparkling Talent, this of course was towards the end of last season. Sparkling Talent in his first intended start this season played up in the parade ring and ended up kicking the fence from memory and was scratched. And on this occasion he just wore them down. But I thought that was a good effort from Rugby Diamond. He drew barrier 12, he carried 133 and he got a fair bit of pressure a long way out. I sort of see the race maybe he can get a bit of a clear gap on some of the opposition here and that'll give him a chance. But it is Class 5.
Yeah, well, he did go really nicely third up last season when he was second behind him, Invisible, and he just got beaten on the line.
He came out of the pack.
Yeah, remember that? And so he's third up now, so and down into Class 5.
All right, a few ifs and buts here, Paul, but where did you go in the end?
Yeah, Class 5, but I did go with Rugby Diamond in the end. I think this is his grade over the 1,000 metres. And look, I think Dylan Moe will just let him go, and that's the best way of riding him. Show Mission's been very consistent. He should get a nice run too, midfield. And then the two ex-Gary Ong horses, Highland, the 9-year-olds, Highland Dragon, who lost that race as we saw, and Diamond, Double Master as well. So 3, 4, 10 and 1. I'll go QQP 3, 4, 10.
Well, I went out on a limb last Wednesday night with the Sylph as my best. I'm going to follow up because I'm going to tip Rugby Diamond as the best of the night. I think he'll jump, he can stay wide, he'll build the revs, he'll cross down to the rail, he'll be in front. It's 1,000, he's got a claim. The others will be puffing and panting behind him. Some of them might get close late, but he can find the line for me. Rugby Diamond, best of the night. 7, Luck the Danger. Forever Fun's drawn well. This is his grade. And Show Mission did hit the line nicely first up, but that was 1,200. Having said that, he's unbeaten course and distance. So 3, 8, 2, 4. My play, win number 3.